company's Wear Liberty, sit over here. So I started about, before I get into my story, I tend to tell a lot of unnecessary details, so I'm going to say my themes now. Basically, is what I want to say is don't be afraid to reach out, because if you don't, you never know what will happen or what won't happen. And that's how I got where I am today. And don't be afraid to create your own things. Like, a lot of people just go online, look for jobs, apply for what's there, but sometimes you got to do your own thing and stray away from the crowd. So that's what I'm trying to say here. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I started a couple years ago working at a record label. Music is my #1 passion. That's where I got started into the whole creative scene. Played music from 10 years old. I worked for Rope-a-Dope Records as a music marketing intern, and towards the end of my internship, they were doing a new thing with their clothing line. They put out a lot of graphic t-shirts, and I asked the owner what he was going to do, because they put all the old stuff on sale, and I was like, what are you going to do in 2010? He's like, I don't really know. At that point in my life, I'd been following a couple t-shirt companies online for about 2 years, and I thought I knew a lot about it. Been networking with a lot of artists, so I was like, presented him my ideas. This is what I know about t-shirts. I think I could bring a lot to the table, and he's basically created a position for me. And so at the beginning of 2010, I was the art director of what was called the Rope-a-Dope Design Collective, and it was a new line of t-shirts put out through Rope-a-Dope Records. I did 2 lines with them in 2010, one in the spring, one in the fall. I did 8 shirts each time. It was a lot of different artists from all over the world, actually. A dude from Mexico, a dude from Spain who lives in Germany, a guy from England who now lives in California. But that's how I started out my networking. I wasn't afraid to reach out to these artists and ask them to do designs for me. And you think sometimes they're going to charge too much money, but a lot of these people would even do it for free or on a commission basis. So if we sold 100 shirts, they'd get a percentage of that. That's how I got my start in the t-shirt world, and it took off from there. I wanted to start my own thing. I love Philly. I've always lived around and in and around Philly for my entire life, and I feel like a lot of the stuff out there is all sports-based, Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, whatever. I'm not a sports guy. I wanted to do graphic Philly stuff like our architecture, our culture, our history, our art. And that's what you see on my shirts. Love Park, Ben Franklin, City Hall. I mean, every time I walk through Philly, I notice City Hall, the yellow clock in the middle of the night. I wanted to put that on a shirt, and so now I finally did it. So I started Wear Liberty 2010. I actually made that black hoodie up top there. I didn't really have a website or anything, but it was something I wanted to do, so I just did it. I put out this hoodie and told my friends about it. I sold maybe 5, and I still have 20 left over, but that's how you gotta start. Because I wanted to start, my original plan was I'm going to start big, I want to have 10 shirts, but I couldn't do that, I didn't have the money for it. So I put out that one hoodie, I grew from there. The next year I put out the Love Park shirt. I was managing a band at the time. They played in Love Park that year, and so I wore that shirt. Got a lot of questions about it. Actually, the guy who runs the gift shop at Love Park even asked me about it, said we could sell your shirt here. That still hasn't happened, but maybe it will. But another story like that, I was actually at City Hall the other day, took a tour, went up to the top, right under William Penn's feet, which is awesome, but talked to the manager of their gift store, talking about maybe putting my shirts in their gift store, which they run, the Love Park, the Philadelphia Zoo, the Independence Hall, all those gift stores, and so they submitted my graphics to be potentially be sold next year in any of those stores, which is awesome. And that goes back to my theme of not being afraid to reach out. You got to talk to everyone and anyone, and especially when you do events like this. I did the Art Star Craft Bazaar this year, which is there's a store on 2nd Street called Art Star. These 2 girls own it, and they put on a bazaar every spring. It's 2 days, a Saturday, Sunday in May. About 150 vendors over at Penn's Landing, and this was my first big event. So all that stuff you see over there, I put that together in 2 weeks because I wanted to have everything right. I had postcards, pins, business cards, stickers, that banner, my little racks for my t-shirts, and I sat out there for 8 hours each day and just talked to every single person that came up to my booth. And so one guy that came up was one of the guys who works for the National Liberty Museum, and he said, would you be interested in selling your shirts in our museum? I said, of course. So that's where one of the places where my shirts are sold now. If you go into that museum, it's 3rd and Chestnut. They sell the Ben Franklin one and another one, which I don't have because they bought all of them, which is awesome. There's also a store in the Piazza called Jinxed. They sell a lot of vintage, a lot of furniture, household items, some collector toys, some t-shirts, local art. I became friends with the owner of that store. They sell my shirts now too, and as I said, I talked to the people at the City Hall gift shop, and so I'm just trying to reach out, put my stuff anywhere it can be. Come to events like this. I have my website online, try to reach out. So the other day, my friend's band wore the Love Park shirt. They played down at Xfinity Live, and the next day, a girl emailed me through my website. She said, I saw this band last night wearing one of your shirts. She's like, where can I buy them? It was funny because she emailed me through the website, which is where you can buy them, obviously, but... So she ended up ordering 8 shirts. She's from California, and she ordered 8 shirts for all of her family in Philly that hosted her while she was here. So just things like that, the little things like, you know, giving out shirts for free to your friends. You know, you can't always do that. You gotta cut a line somewhere because everyone's like, oh, let me get a shirt for free. But like, sometimes it does help. It's free advertising. If someone's gonna talk about your stuff like it's the best thing ever, then why not give them a free shirt? But that's pretty much my story, and I just want to reiterate, don't be afraid to reach out and create your own thing. So, thank you.